There are many affected people in this tragic event and subsequent cover-up. Especially all the witnesses who have been crucial in putting the puzzle around the murder together. Several of them and their statements have been diminished, idiot declared, discredited, and even threatened by the Palm fake investigation. Statements exist from several witnesses on the murder evening about walkie-talkie observations around the Palm couple and the places they were at. All have been waved away with post-constructed explanations that it would have been other uninteresting police operations on the murder evening, and the explanations have been delivered in a steady stream over the years to diminish the witnesses' truly interesting and relevant observations. A proper lady was even called bag lady, to really diminish the person's statements. But above all, there are several independent witnesses who have provided important and revealing statements to the investigation that have been manipulated in connection with them being written down. There are statements that have been replaced by completely new written pages in already conducted interrogations. Text has been added by other police officers, despite them pretending to be the original. In other cases, information has been added and other erased. Witnesses have been moved geographically between interrogations. There are few audio recordings available with witnesses, and there are many summarized interrogations rewritten by police afterward. A policeman very involved in important statements from Lisbeth Palm on the murder night was completely erased from the material in connection with the prosecution against Christer Pettersson. That there are hardly any ways to get material from the investigation without it being arbitrarily masked also speaks for the establishment not wanting revealing information to be released to the public, even though the investigation has been closed for several years. There are also concrete statements on how uninterested receiving police have been in statements, and when the persons later requested their own interrogations, they on many points did not at all match the statements they had given. And when they have submitted the original statements they initially made, they prove invaluable to understand that even police involved in the stay-behind exercise on the murder evening were completely unexpectedly shocked that the shots fell and that the secret exercise had to be abruptly interrupted in connection with it. But we also have concrete and threatening statements that have been conveyed to a high-ranking parliamentarian who was even a possible future Minister of Justice, in the parliamentarian Jerry Martinger, who refused to stop digging into the statements around where Holmer really was during the murder night. Jerry, who was offered an opportunity to advance in his career if he just promised to stop digging into the Palm murder. This ultimatum was backed by a Swedish Prime Minister. When Jerry refused, many turned against him and he was later accused and prosecuted for things he never committed, which more or less destroyed his political career. It was also in connection with these honorable heroes who refused to be intimidated by the Swedish deep state's clear threatening messages that it was revealed how far they were willing to go to silence the truth. They could frighteningly account for exactly what Jerry and others had been doing in everyday life and how they could cause accidents in their vicinity, but also at the same time very revealing in the serious threats explained that it was a one-time occurrence, and if the truth came out, the population's trust in Sweden as a rule of law state would disappear for a very long time. It is really in these motivations and the scare threats that we get the explanation for the scope of the cover-up. But even from inside the covering authority organization, one can dig up concrete information that tells precise details about who were involved and what happened at the murder itself. We have a special criminal inspector, Jerker Soderblom, who even during the investigation's course is promoted to commissioner because he so detailedly refuses to do dirty work and investigate red herrings and thereby shows that he knows exactly what happened and how he actually has the opportunity to reveal the entire cover-up when he rings in exactly which area in the world, with Bulgaria in the north, Morocco in the west, Iran in the east and no delimitation in the south, which clearly points out South Africa as the last stop for the area it is about. With this geographical description, the small island of Crete ends up right in the focus for who has been involved in the events on Sveavägen on the murder evening. But we will get to that. Even a covering investigation in collusion with Swedish MS media and how they choose to angle the information can sometimes reveal fantastic statements. When it turns out that several of the strangely acting police on the murder evening, with right politically oriented opinions, are highlighted in media to mislead and shift focus from the truth and the real course of events. The police who had previously been taken under the wings of Holmer several years earlier and who in Stockholm went under the name Baseball League for their hard and brutal methods to keep control of nightlife in Stockholm. Then it turns out later that rumors exist that the police have been on trainings and exercises in South Africa from 1982 and onward. The rumor says it should be about 10 to 15. But when the police themselves investigate this and compile a report, they revealingly only come to that it has been a few who visited South Africa in other private contexts. A transparently obvious way to diminish and wave away these rumors that instead only confirm that Sweden at this time trained Swedish right-oriented police to be guerrilla-trained in South Africa within the stay-behind organization in the event that the Soviet Union would attack Sweden. As you surely already understand now, there is incredibly interesting, relevant, and important information to take part in, from and around the investigation. Both in the form of revealing quotes from establishment representatives, incredibly important and central witnesses from the murder evening, but also the obviously covering actions that both the fake investigation and the entire Swedish establishment have brainwashed the population with for 40 years. So what is it this time that makes a difference in what information has come forward, in the overall description?